at Narcoleptic Customs Podcast, episode 35. Y'all, we have Boo, Kvamso, Eli Gould, and the Martin family. All of those folks are veteran Race Week and Rocky Mountain Race Week and Hot Rod Drag Week participants. So I wanted to get them on here to give us some Rocky Mountain Race Week newbie prep setup, some things to be looking for, some things to do to get prepared. We start this thing in 4 days. So begin to get your checklist checked off. I don't even know how the heck to say that. We are working in the shop tonight. We will be doing a podcast every day on the and uploading it. So follow us there on Facebook to get the links, or subscribe to your favorite podcast outlet. And then we'll also be loading videos every day. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe if you haven't already. I would certainly appreciate that. And all right, guys, here we go. Thanks. Now, okay, we are recording. All right, guys, you are in luck. We have the Martin family. These guys are amazing. They are huge supporters of the circuit stuff. And obviously, I am so excited to take the chance to come on Rocky Mountain Race Week with you guys, because I think you guys met Jonathan Stonecipher back like 2014 on Drag Week or something like that. Yep. So y'all have been a big part of our life in the drag race stuff since then. Obviously, I see you guys 1, maybe 2 times a year. So I'm excited to spend a whole week with everybody. It's going to be, I hope you're ready for some shenanigans. I enjoy pranks and having fun. So
this time, you're going to have a lot of fun.
I'm so ready. And this time I won't be rushing around like a madman. So it'll be a blast. So we'll get right into it. You guys have been on several of these, so I'll let you introduce yourselves and then definitely tell your car and the setup.
Well, I'm Lewis Martin. I drive a 72 Chevelle. It's orange with black stripes. Between Hot Rod Drag Week, I did from 2011 to 14. Then when Matt started Race Week, I've did them ever since. So I've did 5 of them. This will be the 6th one of them.
Wow.
And
that's cool. What? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm his wife, Wendy. I have done Hot Rod Drag Week in 2013, 2014 as co-pilot, and then done Race Week all the way through since 2015. So.
Yeah, I'm Austin. I've got a 1982 Buick Regal. It's been on, 3, 4 race weeks? Is that right?
Yeah.
It's been on 4 Rocky Mountain Race Weeks, and 3 of them has placed top 3, right? Mm-hmm. 3 of them has placed top 3 in the small block naturally aspirated class. And
that's awesome.
It's got a small block Chevy in it, so.
That's what's up. And then what's the setup in the your car, Lewis?
Well, it's got a standard bore 400 small block. It's a dart block. The short block's been in the car since 2012, and it's probably got hundreds of nitrous passes on it. It's got a solid lifter cam, no roller, flat tops, runs on pump gas. On
street
a pretty
car.
good dose. Yeah, it's street car. I'll drive it anywhere, race it and drive it back. On a pretty good dose of nitrous, it's been 940 at 140. And usually on Hot Rod Drag Week, I run the 11.0 class. So mainly I can run on motor and barely spray it, just to try to keep it alive all week. So
11-second bracket car.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. So I guess that probably answers the question of, are you guys forever or never folks? I mean, I would venture to say you're forever folks. You'll always find a way to do this.
Yeah. When Matt and June decided to do Rocky Mountain Race Week, it really intrigued us that it was more of a family-oriented event. They really encourage kids to come and do it as a family. And we have become like a huge family and have become to know Matt and June like you would not believe. Like, you know, we stay in contact with them all year. They're just,
that's awesome.
They made it a great event.
I'm excited to be a big part of it. Go ahead.
We originally built my car. Me and my brother, we both wanted to go. Well, only 3 people can ride with him. So we traded this whole truck we had for my car. We built it in, 2 months, 3 months,
Yeah, about a month and a half or so.
a month and a half, and took it out there, and it was running what 13s. So we got into 12s, I think.
Yeah.
That's
And
all
it just progressed from there.
right. And then this isn't just like, I try and get people that aren't necessarily like to the level of you guys are. Obviously, I mean, you're road warriors, you know what I mean? You drive these cars and stuff. So I try and explain to folks that aren't really in that life, like this is like 1,250 miles in a race car,
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to have GoPros all the time, and I hope to document just a ton of stuff. And then next year end up with just lots and lots and lots more people as part of. I hope to be indoctrinated into this Rocky Mountain Race Week family. So here's my question: leading up, because we're 10 days out now, we're going to be 7 when this drops. No, we'll be 9 when this drops. So should I be getting more sleep now because I'm not going to get any then, or just go ahead and get my body used to 4 hours a night?
Well, it's not going to be a sleep thing. It's going to be an eating thing. With the way they're doing it this year, I mean, I only sleep 5 hours a night anyhow, so it doesn't really affect me any. But the way they're doing it this year, where we're going to get up in the morning, drive during the day, then we're going to race that evening, then go to bed, it won't be so bad. It'll be more of a thing of when you leave your hotel in the morning, trying to get to the track in enough time to make your passes. I mean, we probably won't eat. I mean, we eat at the gas station. I mean, Mike.
That's the best food ever.
Yeah, we eat at the gas stations. So
if you're lucky enough to have enough time to stop at a McDonald's and get a burger, you've done good.
Get a whole bunch of burgers and then just throw them at people as they're coming by because they're not eating either.
Oh, it's crazy.
Well,
Beef jerky and water.
Well, like on the regular race week where Matt has the drive days in there, there's a few days you can, hit a steakhouse and stuff like that. But this is going to be different because you're driving and racing in the same day, and we usually don't do a lot of that. So
it'll be interesting for sure. I'm excited. That's why we're bringing the cart this time and not the old truck, because I just want simple, easy cruising, Yeah. So, and sunburned. So sunburned. So, what is a tool or part that you guys typically need that you always say, I'm going to bring that, and then you forget it? What's something that we should be looking to put in our box?
One really simple thing that I forgot 2 or 3 years so far, about every year, is like a socket set or some screwdrivers. I concentrate so much on having like an alternator, and a lot of times I carry a spare transmission, a spare ignition system, and all that I overlook the simple things. I mean, we will run off and forget, one special tool we need for the carburetor or something, and it's at the house. I have to buy it every year. I've got like 2 or 3 $10 socket sets. I mean, I bought another one this year because I didn't have any sockets. So.
That's awesome. So how many changes of clothes do you bring clothes for the week, or do you do laundry during the week or anything like that?
So on the regular race week, you have time to do laundry if you're lucky. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. We always just bring enough for the whole week, but we usually leave like our change of clothes that we're going to have for the last day in the truck. So that's like less weight in the car.
That makes sense.
And then like dirty clothes, leave whatever dirty clothes you can behind. Just in the truck before you leave.
Oh yeah.
So,
No, just throw your underwear away every day, and it helps on the weight.
Yeah, at the end of the day, sitting in these seats that don't breathe at all, I'm sure we'll just be chunking that stuff. I'll be throwing a bunch of stuff away.
Well, on this deal here, we won't have time to do laundry. I mean, we won't have time for that.
Yeah, so. I'm so excited. So have any of y'all done it solo, or has it always been with a Copilot?
We've always done it with a Copilot.
Give us a rundown of like what a Copilot should be doing. Like what should they be prepared for?
Well, they should be reading the map so we ain't lost, but they be reading the map and we're still lost, but we usually find our way back. Usually, I've been doing this so long, me and Carlos was the first two that had ever went on one of these things. And so I don't know. Everybody always wants to follow me now because Wendy reads the map, so nobody wants to have to read the map.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So basically, the co-pilot, her just trying to find gas stations, see how many miles we've went. Because, you know, some of us can only go 100 miles on gas, some of us go 150 miles on gas. So
Wow.
she keeps track of all that. I mean, because if you're solo doing it on your own, that'd be hard to do.
Yeah.
Read the map, especially because I've never had a map that's perfect. We've always had us take a wrong turn or something, and you just never know.
You read the map by yourself 2012.
Yeah.
So as far as reading the map, what it is they give you turn-by-turn steps. And sometimes they're not always right. And, you know, or there's construction that wasn't there whenever they made the maps. So I have a road atlas as well as the directions they give
Old
us.
school.
Yeah.
And we also have, you know, my GPS just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then like he said, I have to sit down and figure out mileage, you know, because we have usually 15 cars with us.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's.
Yeah, you guys
that's
are a crew for sure.
Yeah.
She'll look ahead on her cell phone at the next town to see what gas stations, how many gas stations are there.
What octane they carry.
We've run across a lot of towns out in especially the Midwest, which is odd because they grow corn there, but there's no E85, and a lot of them will have like 87 octane, and that's it.
Ooh.
So,
Race cars like to run on 87 octane.
Yeah,
some of them had 85 octane.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was
Running
bad.
tractors out there? God dang. Nothing. My lawnmower won't run on 85. So what's the hotel parking lot like at night? Because we're like, I'll tell everybody, listen, when we did all this, I just messaged Wendy and I was like, please tell me you can help me get rooms and all this kind of stuff. And she took care of it. She's amazing. So I'll be paying you back with beer if you drink beer or whatever you drink, or food. So what are the hotel parking lots at night? I mean, like everybody hanging out, everybody in a room, what are we doing?
So a lot of people hang out around the cars, you know, watch people pull in, you know, they talk about stories that happened down on the road. Did you have any trouble? You know, what did you see? Did you see any crazy people? You know, have a few beers, kick back, relax for a little bit before you have to get up and.
Well, she makes it sound so great, but rebuild shocks, change transmissions. Carlos put pistons in his car in the parking lot.
Okay, there is that.
We've rebuilt everything in the parking lot.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So last question I have for you guys is, and being on the road as much as you have, I'm sure you've seen some. So let's get like maybe the top level stuff here. What are the sketchiest roadside repairs y'all have done to get to the next track?
Me personally, I've never broke much stuff, so I really haven't had to make any sketchy repairs. But I travel with a bunch of guys that make a lot of sketchy repairs. Hank and them, in his car, they changed lifters so many times on one drive that the silicone never dried. They would just pull it off and just stick the intake right back on. I mean, the gaskets are even set, you know.
That's awesome.
One time we jammed a socket between a rocker arm and a spring to hold the spring open, and took the push rods out because it had burned a piston, so we could relieve the compression that way.
Jeez.
Brawl.
Oh, we used a wire out of a brawl one time to help Larry Larson fish broke lifters out of his truck one year.
Oh my gosh.
Outside the road. We did it outside the road with brawl wire. He said he'd have never made it without it.
That's awesome. The old underwire taking care of everybody.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. Well, y'all, hey, I've got to get to Mike and them because I got to get back in the shop and get to work on the cart. Thank y'all so much. I'm so excited to be able to hang out with you guys in a little over a week. So
Yep. We'll see you in Tulsa.
yeah, hey, I'm pumped. We're going to do a few more of these while we're all together too. So get ready.
All righty.
Guys,
Thanks.
Thanks a bunch.
Yep.
Bye.
All right, guys, we have Mr. Eli Gould with us, a Rocky Mountain Race Week and Drag Week veteran. I mean, how many of those things have you been on?
Well, we've been able to do 5 drag weeks and 2 Rocky Mountain Race Weeks now.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm so jealous. So let's let's start out with what is your, obviously I just kind of introduced you there, but give us your name and the car and class that you raced most recently.
Yeah, my name's Eli Gould. Come out of Oklahoma. This last couple times we've taken a 60 Biscayne. We kind of call it skid mark half the time because it kind of looks like a pile of crap. But
But
we've been running
really
big
well.
shit last that.
Oh, cool. So what's the setup on that car then? I thought it was an auto.
Oh yeah, that car's got a LT1 junkyard motor that we used to run in the stock block shootout classes, and so it's got the T56 from the Firebird, the '94 Firebird we drug everything out of, and yeah, we've been running it.
That's awesome. So what's the fastest that car's been?
It's been 11:44 at 122.
I mean, damn, that's fast.
Yeah, it's a boat. It's an old 4-door boat. It weighs about 3780, I think, with that combo.
Dang, that's what's up. So being on so many, I guess this is probably an easy one to answer for you, but are you a forever or never guy? Like, will you always find a way to attend, or are you never going again?
Yeah. If there is a reasonable way to get there, I'll always be there. I look forward to it all year round.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're learning. I was with Stone Cipher and Timmy the other night, and they talked about just the family, how you just are adopted into this group and everybody comes in, and you just end up with this gigantic family that you always try and get. It's like a reunion every year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see guys there that you only talk to once a year, and it's just like you just saw each other last week.
That's awesome. So what is a tool that all of us newbies that you usually forget to bring and you end up having to buy? What's a tool or a part?
Well, ours might be kind of different because we're always bringing junk, but we always end up having to dig into the steering column and never have a steering wheel tool, a removal tool.
That's the first one.
But I'd
That's
say
the first
for most newbies, you definitely want to have at least a jack stand, maybe a piece of cardboard, something like that. But you're always going to end up on the ground.
Yeah, I didn't think about the cardboard side of things, but yeah, that's a great idea. That's awesome. So I asked the guys the other night, and I'll see what you say. So should we get a lot of sleep before the event because we're not going to get any, or should we just get our bodies used to not sleeping?
Historically speaking, I usually go with no sleep for a week beforehand, but it's not my choice usually. But no,
you're trying to get the car ready.
Yeah, that's usually what ends up happening. So, but I would say get as much sleep as you can. If you're like me, you get pumped and excited, and you can go for a while. If you get 2 or 3 days in with only a couple hours a night, you're starting to push it. It's best not to start that before you get there.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So how many changes of clothes should we bring? I mean, like two outfits. I'm talking about little kids, but like 2 changes of clothes a day. I mean, like.
I'll generally just do one. I'll make sure I got some junk t-shirts or something because I'll end up under something. But yeah, I bring something for every day and one extra. I figure if it gets too crazy, I can always stop by a Walmart or something and grab some t-shirts and some shorts or something if I have to.
That makes me think because like, will there be vendors and stuff that go along with this?
Yeah, a lot of times you'll have maybe like 1320 video. A lot of times we'll have like a booth or I know the Race Week trailer, a lot of times they always have t-shirts and stuff like that there too. Yeah. So you end up with extras.
But you don't ever want to ruin a new one.
Right. So yeah, you got to bring a couple junk ones. You're going to be under something. So.
That's exactly right. So have you ever done it solo? Have you ever done a Race Week or drag solo?
I've always had my brother with me, and so far, except for this last year, my dad has always followed the whole crew, followed the race along with another vehicle. So, it ends up being a family deal for us. That's kind of our excuse to make sure we spend some time together every year. Everybody can't always be around each other, and it's just a good excuse for everybody to get together.
That's awesome. So that leads me into the next question: is what should a co-pilot be prepared for?
Well,
like are they snack and radio and navigator?
I'll tell you, I've never had a radio. But no, I'd say GPS, following your GPS and tagging along with the directions that you get. It's nice to be able to run a little bit ahead on the directions and figure out what highway or what road you're actually turning on before you get there. Because a lot of times, maybe the directions won't be really straightforward and you'll end up driving right by something. But,
That's awesome.
Yeah, the
Need
navigator
to
is
be
the
ready.
main-
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last one here, because I know you're working, and I appreciate you working this in. So what's the sketchiest roadside repair you've done or seen to get you to the track?
Oh, or seen. Oh man, that'd be a whole new deal going into what I've seen.
Well, let's do the one. Let's do the one you've completed.
The one we've done. So I think in drag week 14, we ate a turbo at Tulsa the opening day, and ended up gutting the wastegate, pinching vice grips on the turbine wheel, and drove about 120 miles like that with a pair of vice grips on the turbo to keep it from spinning while we were trying to get back to somewhere where we could jerk it all off.
Oh my gosh.
We actually ended up pulling the entire turbo set off, putting on headers and a nitrous plate, and making it to Topeka the next morning about 7:30 in the morning, and ran the rest of the week on nitrous.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is going to be a fun story because we're going to have you back. I'm going to come up. I'd love to sit with you and your brother and your dad and go through all those stories. So we'll let you get back to work. And again, dude, thank you so much for sitting with us. All right, man. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon. All right, you too. Bye. All right, guys. We have Boo. Boo, say your last name for us.
It's Kvamso.
Oh, that is not how everybody pronounces it.
No, it doesn't look like that.
So here's what we got. So Boo is a Rocky Mountain Race Week veteran, which is the kind of folks we're looking for to help all of us noobs get ready for the Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0. So Boo, why don't you tell us what you guys are like, who you're riding with and what you're bringing and the setup on that car.
I'm going to be going with Jim Parkinson for 2.0 here in a couple weeks. We're going to take Jim's Camaro BG. It's a second-gen Camaro. It's a single turbo LS deal. I think it's going to be on E85. It might be on methanol. Kind of depends on what he's able to get done and not get done. But it was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment deal for me. I talked to him a little bit earlier today and just decided to go with him.
That's awesome. I'm excited. So this will be the most you and I have ever hung out ever.
Well, yeah, I feel like we do the same stuff.
Year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. So what class are you guys running for 2.0?
I think Jim's going to want to do Ultimate Radial again. We talked a little bit about it at the beginning of race week this year, and he wanted to do the 850 class, but he's kind of turbo limited. He's got a antique Air Research turbo on the car, which it makes good power for what it is, but it's just not really as capable as something newer and nicer would be, even at the same size. So he wanted to run the 850 class, but I don't really think his heart was in the other one.
Right. He's got a big new turbo in the box in the floor when I was down on Sunday morning. So he said he wasn't even going to try and mount that one before this event because he said there's just too much to do before then. Plus, we're 10 days out. So, a little nerve-wracking. So the question I've been asking everybody is, are you a forever or never participant?
I'll definitely be a forever. The first time I did it, just at the end of the week, kind of sat back and reflected on it and realized it's the most fun I've ever had at a racetrack. Being there, driving it, just being around it, the whole atmosphere is really, really cool.
That's awesome. And I can't wait. Because when we went on the power tour, I only knew my brother and my dad. This one, I know a ton of people and am willing to talk to anybody that will listen. So we're going to do a ton of podcasts during the week too with everybody that's willing to talk. So that leads me into the next question is, what are the hotel parking lots like at night? And if I have a cooler full of beer, am I the favorite guy around the parking lot?
It kind of depends on where you're at and where everyone else is at. So the first year I did it with Jason, and we had everything planned out with Robert and Dylan, and they're way more organized than we are. So we stayed at a bunch of cool places with a bunch of, other racers there, and it was really cool. This last year, me and John didn't plan anything at all. We were just winging it, and ended up kind of tagging along with Daryl Cole, a guy in Eastern Arkansas that Jim knows. So he had rented a bunch of rooms out, or reserved a bunch of rooms. So we just kind of said, oh, hey, we'll take it. So there wasn't any real planning to it, which it worked out great for us because we did such a poor job planning where we were going to stay. And a few of the times it was super cool. There were tons of people out, people that we knew or, had some internet notoriety, I guess, which is really cool just to be around. And then a couple other times, I think we were in Great Bend and in Pueblo, and both of those times we were in like skeezy little hotels that we didn't want to have the car parked anywhere but in front of the window that we were at.
Yeah, Jonathan said he slept one night like to where with the window open to where he could see the car. That's funny. So we'll stay on that topic for a second. What is your opinion? Should I be getting, and all of us other new guys, should we be getting a lot of sleep now? Or should we go ahead and get our bodies used to 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night?
I'm a big fan of winging it, honestly. I didn't really prepare a whole lot. There were some nights that we didn't sleep a lot, but there were other nights that we got in at, 4 o'clock in the afternoon and we could have done whatever we wanted. So me and John tried to kind of prepare for that a little bit. The Mustang is kind of a brutal car. It wasn't really a very good street car. I talk shit on Facebook and I call it a street car all the time, but for the most part, it's driven 30 or 40 minutes here and there.
Yeah, and there's a big difference in street car around town and street car 1,300 miles.
So by like the 4th day, I was just getting abused. I was super tired, super hot, been sucking in E85 fumes for a while. So me and John kind of just made the decision, hey, we're going to go back to the hotel and we're going to sleep all night long and then have a worse drive tomorrow instead of leaving out tonight. But for the most part, I think the Rocky Mountain Race Week format originally, the one they did before, you have drive days and you really have enough time to get everything done that you want or need to get done.
That's awesome.
This one's going to be following Drag Week's format because it's kind of the makeup for Drag Week. So it's going to be drive each day, race in the evening, drive each day, race in the evening. So I think it will be a little bit more difficult on yourself, but I probably wouldn't get too hung up on it. I would just say, keep doing what you're doing.
Sweet. And I'm sure we'll be making a mad dash run there the last few days anyways to make sure we're all good and everything like that. So I'm sure we'll be burning the candles at both ends on those days anyways. So how many changes of clothes should people look to bring? Like one a day? I mean, you bring 2 shirts a day,
I brought enough for 7 days on the last trip. And me and John actually did laundry at a hotel, I think on day 4 or 5.
That's
mostly
cool.
Just because I'm wearing a fire suit and it gets disgustingly hot in like a 20 layer suit. So I went through like 2 t-shirts a day pretty much every day.
Wow.
But I also bought a couple while we were out. So 1320 was out there selling merchandise, and some of the people from Blueprint came to Kearney and I got a shirt from them also. So pretty cool deal. But
that's cool.
I would definitely plan for 7 days if it's a 5 or 6 day trip like it's supposed to be. Just a couple extra in case you got to work on the car and get nasty also. In
case you're laying around on the ground or, pulling a motor in a parking lot.
Yeah, and we did that the year before last.
Yep.
We had a rough time.
So what's a tool or part that you usually forget to bring that you've had to buy?
Really just consumable stuff more than anything else. We did an oil change and had to go buy oil because you don't really think to pack stuff like that. The year before, we broke Jason's transmission and we had to go get transmission fluid and a transmission filter. And we had to buy brake fluid at one point in time. But as far as tools, I mean, my car, every single thing can be done with a 10 millimeter or 13 millimeter, just like literally everything. So I didn't really pack a whole lot of tools. And we had a trailer also, so there was a lot more opportunity to bring stuff with us. So we didn't really lack for anything tool-wise. Canopy, I would say, is paramount. If you don't have something to get yourself out of the sun, you're probably not going to have a good time. I think everybody needs to bring a canopy with them, even if you're doing road week, bring a canopy with you because it's going to be hot and you're going to be out there for a long time.
Yeah, man. So we got a big old white top canopy. I'm going to bring it in some weights.
Yeah, something to weigh it down. That's something we've never done. We folded one up at Pueblo last year and then lost one again It might have been at Pueblo again, actually. It actually scraped across the car, which was really disheartening because it did put a scratch in it. But, I mean, just one of those deals you kind of get in a hurry and get everything set up so you can go race. And we just had it flopped out there on the concrete, and it didn't want to stay.
Yeah, so I talked to Eli Gould earlier and asked him what, same questions. And he messaged me afterwards and he said, oh, man, I meant to tell you canopy weights, some way to weigh the canopy down, because he said we folded 3 or 4 up on the trips they've been on. So will this be the first time you've co-piloted?
I co-piloted for Jason year before last.
Oh, that's right.
With his truck.
So have you ever gone solo?
I haven't done it by myself. I took my Mustang this year, and I had Stonecipher as a co-pilot with me.
That's awesome.
Anything I've had, though, like my personal vehicle, I need help with. I'm kind of a child, and I'm for sure going to tear something up without someone a little bit smarter or more responsible than me telling me not to.
Well, then, hey, listen, I need somebody to hand me snacks and drinks and watch the map and, tell me
exactly
what to learn and all that kind of stuff. So what should a co-pilot be prepared for some of the other guys?
Just really making sure you have the route figured out before it's time to figure it out, because June and Matt will sometimes throw a wrench and stuff. You really can't just look at Google Maps and try and get it figured out, because like at one point in time this last year, we had to turn around and go back probably, 20 miles because we got on the interstate that they say to get on, but we didn't drive through the part of town that has a roundabout. And the roundabouts on it are kind of a deal. You'll probably find out about that, but you'll have to take like several trips around the roundabout, and they almost always have a film crew out or, someone helping put on the event out there.
That's awesome.
And they pay attention to stuff like that. So if you're not on the route, you'd hate to get disqualified for something for a little oversight. So the co-pilot,
for going around the roundabout one time instead of twice.
Yeah, I would say maybe calm the person down. I get kind of the red mist deal occasionally when it comes to race car stuff. You get real angry or real frustrated, or you want to do something dumb. So I know Jason's the same way. We did it together, and more than one occasion it was not really needing to do anything other than say, hey man, we're here to have fun, just calm down. Like, it's not a big deal. If something breaks that we can't fix, we can't fix it. There's no point in getting worked up over it, and that's part of it. So,
right. And there's generally somebody there that can probably get you patched up to at least get to the next place. Well, the last one I got is what's the sketchiest roadside repair you guys have done to get to the next track?
Me and Jason did some sketchy stuff the first year, and surprisingly, like what should have been the most dependable vehicle. I mean, 800 horsepower truck with AC and overdrive, and no issues ever in the life of the truck. And the second day out, we broke a brake line somehow, and I think it's because we had the shocks so loose in the back to kind of try and make it not ride so bad with all the weight in it, because we had a bunch of fuel jugs and tools and stuff. That it actually hit the axle against the frame and smashed the brake line. So we crimped it off with a pair of needle nose pliers and twisted it up on itself 4 or 5 times on the side of the road, and then just drove to the parts store. And of course, they didn't have any pre-made ones, so we put 60 or 70 loops in this thing to get it to where it wasn't too long, and then we kept going.
That's awesome.
We also broke his transmission, and we rebuilt it in an aircraft hangar. What track was it now? I don't even remember. Anyway.
Yeah, he was telling that story. So I had him and Timmy and Stonecipher and Mikey the other day on the podcast, and it drops tomorrow. And it's what made me think I need to do this and hit as many people as I can with quick questions.
I was going to come out to that and then, just get busy with everything going on. So,
well, we're going to be gone for in a week. You know what I mean? So it's, I get it. Try and get as much stuff done at home. My poor wife, I haven't been home, and then I'm out here working in the car tonight. So, well, dude, that's all I've got. If you think of something, holler for sure, and I'll make sure I put it in. I want to get 2 or 3 more people on a quick one like this, and then I'm probably going to drop it on Saturday. That way we can get a week ahead, so all of us other noobs can run through our checklist.
Yeah, for sure. The only other thing I would suggest is to try and test your cooling capacity at any point in time. If you have a chance to drive it when it's 105 degrees outside or whatever it's going to be. That was mine and John's biggest fight this year, was trying to keep the car cool. And, you know, you can test something for half an hour and see that it doesn't get too hot. But when you're going up and down hills when it's 100 degrees outside and don't really have an opportunity to stop, we got everything super hot and then had to cool it off and then get it hot and cool it off. So that was our biggest deal. And a lot of people probably don't really think about it, since you're not going to be driving for 4 hours in your race car at any other time.
Well, yeah. And just like we talked earlier, you know, a 30 or 40 minute street car is a lot different than a 200 miles between track street car. You know, that's a great point. Well, cool, dude. Well, man, I look forward to hanging out with you. I really do.
I think we're going to have a bunch of fun.
That is for sure. All right. I'm going to stop recording now, and we'll talk for just a second.